Detailed complaints have been pouring into the WAVE Troubleshooters about a place that we've investigated before, and we've discovered the complaints aren't just coming to us.
No, it's a place Louisville police are called to an average of at least once per day so far this year, but there's so much more to it. Follow along with me on my latest Troubleshooter exclusive. When the WAVE Troubleshooters first investigated 3304 Bardstown Road, then called the Economy Inn, we found LMPD had made 1,370 runs there in 2014, an average of 3.7 per day.
It's just getting worse, and it's feeding right out of this hotel. You know, you've got prostitution, you've got drugs, you've got everything over there. It's like a pimp, hooker, crack haven.
Now it's called Budgetel Inn, but complaints are coming to us, police, health, and codes inspectors again, alleging things like a string of thefts, domestic violence calls, and assaults, a hotbed for acts of violence and drugs, deception in the annual inspection as rooms that really needed inspection were all hidden from the health inspectors. The complaints are very specific, like which rooms have drug sales taking place. When I took an undercover look for myself, I noticed what appeared to be hand-to-hand exchanges and a lot of people coming and going from the rooms listed after spending a few minutes inside. At one of them, a man dropped something in what appears to be glass being passed back and forth after apparently burning him. It shatters and they spend 15 minutes cleaning it all up. The woman living here is Danielle Perkins. Are you Danielle?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm John Bull with WAVE 3. We're doing a story on Budgetel here. We got some complaints on some of the rooms. Yours actually was one of them here.
Okay.
I'm told you're wanted, and another one of the complaints was a lot of drugs consumed and sold out of here. Is that correct? No?
No.
You don't use drugs?
No.
I've been back here watching, and it looks like there's drug use in 319 and 317 and some sales.
I don't know what to talk about. I stay in my room all day.
A few days after that interview, Danielle Perkins was arrested in Grant County for methamphetamine possession and several outstanding warrants. Every time I watched Budgetel Inn, it didn't take long to see visits by EMS for things like drug overdoses, or visits by police on this night for a woman reportedly leaving her kids in a car for hours. How often is LMPD called to this place? Records we requested show 207 police runs here from January 1st to June 1st. That's an average of more than one per day. The most common reason for the calls? Trouble. When I check LMPD's crime tracker database, I find something you don't see very often at any one spot in Louisville. 20-plus arrest records over the past 6 months on charges ranging from meth or cocaine possession to first-degree strangulation. When I requested Metro Health Department records pertaining to the Budgetel Inn, I found multiple complaints recently for things like rooms that are unsanitary and horrific, have bed bugs, fleas, roaches, mold, and a sewer system in disrepair. Another complaint was on behalf of friends that live at Budgetel Inn because they're afraid to make complaints due to the possibility of retaliation from management. And another allegation of owners purposely hiding rooms from the health inspectors to avoid failing. Metro Health then held an administrative conference with ownership and management to address increasing frequency of complaints, safety issues presented through hoarding and neglect, and staff cleaning frequency of rooms. Metro Health concluded there will be an increased inspection interval for 2022, and if the next regular inspection is failed, Health Department will move forward with a notice to suspend the facility's permit. The Codes and Regulations Department joining in too. In a new violation entered May 31st, Metro Codes inspectors found junk around the dumpsters, trash between buildings, etc., and a junk van, and ordered it all removed. I'm John Bull with WAVE 3. I'm looking, is Mr. Yaldo in today?
No, he's not.
Is Daniel? I had a lot of questions I needed to ask owner Tony Yaldo or manager Daniel Legou, who pleaded guilty to methamphetamine possession in 2020, then had his probation revoked in February of 2022. Now, he's on the other end of this call.
WAVE 3 is here. They're asking for you or the Yaldos or Brandon. They asked about Tori. They got complaints. So they're investigating it. He says that you guys can come back and see him tomorrow.
What time? Sure thing.
What time? Afternoon sometime.
Okay, we'll be here at 2:30. Then Legou called and said he preferred to come to WAVE to do an interview. We were all set up at the arranged time, but he never showed and never called. I reached owner Tony Yaldo, who set up a June 21st interview with us at Budgetel, but he postponed it right before, and then refused to return any of my calls. Danny Legou then called me and said there will be no interviews because they say we are fake news. One of the questions I wanted to ask them is if they're comfortable with having Brandon Gibson, a convicted lifetime sex offender for the rape of a 14-year-old, working security and the front desk in a place with lots of children around. Is Brandon Gibson around?
No.
No? He doesn't work the front desk?
Does.
He does, but he's not here working right now. After multiple attempts to talk to Gibson, my phone message was returned in this voicemail from Legou.
Hey, John, this is Danny at Budgetel Inn again. I need you to quit calling my staff members and harassing them. Remember, you do fake news. Me and Tony told you this already over the phone the last time he was here. So I need you to quit calling up here and harassing my staff.
It was terrible. It was horrific, and it was certainly illegal.
The last time complaints poured in about this place, Steve Magre was the Metro councilman battling it out.
I said, what are the issues? I really need to know that first. And she brought a file out that was literally this thick.
I laid out the similar complaints this time.
What you're talking about that would resolve this particular type of problem is a crusade. And I think a lot of elected officials, even back in the day, but especially nowadays, they don't want to be connected as crusaders, if you will. But this one deserves to be a crusade.
The Metro councilman in charge of District 10 now is Pat Mulvihill. He tells me the complaints have come to him too. He called them, quote, awful. He says he doesn't want a repeat performance of what happened there 7 years ago, so he's been in contact with agencies like police and Metro Health. He says Louisville has a weapon to deal with situations like this in the nuisance ordinance, and it's time to invoke it. Budgetel's corporate office would not comment on my story, referring me back to the Louisville franchise owner, and you saw how that went.